Hello and welcome to Killing Time. This is the show that searches for entertainment that does not suck. My name is Iyaz, and with me as always is the man who once got suspended from school because of his confirmation name, Just Bob. Would you like to tell the people what your name was?
Abraham.
That was not your confirmation name. I thought it was Jerome.
That was my middle name. My middle name and my my confirmation.
That's the weird
name.
thing. Jerome was the confirmation name that got him in a lot of trouble. Long story, inside story, and it's not interesting at all. It's also not true.
Moving on.
Yes, let's move away from Jerome and the J and Just Bob. You can't see it, but I'm wearing an Avengers shirt for some reason. There's a movie out called the Avengers.
Wait. There's a movie? I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, so there's a small studio. I think Disney might have a stake in it, and they have these.
So it's an indie.
Yeah, so they've had 18 of these. So I'm.
I mean, I'm just hearing about this now.
I know. So this is the third Avengers movie. It's called Avengers Infinity War, and it stars, I believe, human beings playing...
I believe it stars everyone who's ever been.
Yeah, if they've existed, they are in this movie except for any characters related to Fantastic Four or X-Men. So,
Right,
there we go.
right, because we don't have the rights to them.
No. So, anyway, I got to see the movie yesterday at a press screening. Rob hasn't seen it at all, so we're going to keep this spoiler-free entirely because it would kind of suck if I just told him what happened in the movie.
Yeah.
But there's a full review up in lots of places, and we'll have probably a more spoiler-full episode next week because I'm sure we're going to want to talk about it anyway. So, anything you would like to know about this film?
First of all, is it worth going to see in the movie theater?
Yeah, I think so.
I could have guessed that.
It's a war, you know. So like if you're thinking, hey, this is going to be like Civil War, and you got like just 12 people fighting, or 16. No, just by the trailers alone, you could see just in the Marvel stinger here, there's like 50,000 characters, and they're all going to war. So it's a very large movie, and it definitely deserves to be on a large screen. I haven't seen it in 3D yet. I haven't seen it in IMAX. I saw it in 2D, and it looked great. It's directed quite well. The CG is excellent. It's definitely worth seeing on a gigantic screen if you can.
Now, my question to you is it hampered down by too many characters and too much plot?
You know, surprisingly, no, because this movie presupposes that you have seen previous Marvel movies. If you have never seen a Marvel movie and this is your first one, here's the deal. You'll kind of get it, all right? You'll understand it because the plot's pretty simple. There's a bad guy. He's a big purple dude. Here he is right now. And there's a bunch of other guys who want to stop him from taking over the universe. That right there is enough of the plot. That's all you need to know. Now, you might be confused, like, why is this guy got a haircut? And why does this guy have long hair? And why does this man need a shield? These kinds of questions. You might not know exactly why Captain America's in the position he's in, why Bruce Banner's in the position he's in, and all of that kind of world building has been done. But you'll still be able to understand it. So it doesn't get bogged down with, oh, let me explain who Doctor Strange is, and this is what he can do. It's like, no, you know who he is. If you don't know, you'll figure it out, especially for the more prominent characters. You kind of have their feel already. So it doesn't get bogged down. It's, from my timing, about 2 hours and 15 minutes long from the beginning of the movie to the credits. Okay, so once the credits starts.
Scene in the credits? At the end of the credits? Any?
There is one post-credit scene, no mid-credit scene. So It's movie ends and you wait. Now, in the past, Marvel has done something where for the press screenings, they had one ending or one post-credit sequence, and then they had two for the actual finished version. I believe that was the famous like shawarma scene in Avengers, the first one, where they're kind of just hanging around eating, but that was just tacked on at the very end. Will we see that in this movie? I don't know. I'll find out when I watch it again.
Very good. Very good. Now, why don't you give me your take of the whole movie, spoiler-free, your review of the movie. Hit it with me with it.
All right. So this is definitely the best Avengers movie that's ever existed. It is probably not the best Marvel movie because it does rely on everything else. I would say that maybe Black Panther and maybe one of the Captain Americas partial to the Winter Soldier, as that's like a political thriller. Those two movies are more self-contained. This doesn't have that necessarily. But if you're thinking, hey, look, it's been 10 freaking years. It's in the 19th movie. Do you deliver? Yeah. it really freaking delivers. It's like, okay, the Russos know what they're doing. They know how to give the screen time to the right people when you need it. Do certain characters get short shrift? A little bit at times. It's not to the detriment of the plot. It's just kind of like, oh, I really want to see more from, but oh well, I get why we couldn't. And also, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it's a massive storyline. How are we going to fit this in the time period? It really moves. The team-ups that you guys have seen in the trailers, you've got some odd pairings. You've got, I believe, Thor with the Guardians of the Galaxy. You've got Tony Stark talking to Star-Lord. You've got these really odd character introductions or character meetings, and it really works. It's kind of like reading a Marvel comic book in the old days where you're saying, yeah, how come we haven't seen Spider-Man talk to Doctor Strange or any of that stuff? Or Thor talking to the Guardians? Because nothing like seeing Thor talking to a raccoon, okay? It's weird, but it's completely acceptable. Whereas DC and other movies are like, think of like Dark Knight stuff. Not Dark Knight versus whatever, but like Dark Knight and Chris Nolan stuff. That's like super hyper real. No, this isn't. It's like there's a god talking to a tree. That's fine, okay? That's completely fine, and we all buy it. So it's an excellent movie. I'm going to watch it probably 3 times in the theater because it's really great. If you're bought into this, if you hated the Marvel movies, you really shouldn't see this because it does have that mix of humor, action, and drama. You've got this. It's kind of built into their DNA, and they don't shy away from it. And it's just really, really solid. Like I said, best Avengers movie. You don't have to watch everything before it. I highly suggest watching Avengers 1 and 2 before it at least. That's the bare minimum. If you're like, I gotta watch something, watch those 2. Maybe watch Civil War, Thor Ragnarok, maybe Doctor Strange, Black Panther. Unless you already know from the trailers. Oh, what do you know about Wakanda from the trailers? I asked somebody around work who hadn't seen it. It's like technology? I go, fine, you don't have to watch the movie.
You're good to go.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. So there's, maybe if you really want to be lazy, watch the trailers to some of the most recent movies, but otherwise,
yeah,
it does stand on its own, and it's great. And there's also Thanos, the big purple dude. Who
Now let me ask you, we got all these amazing actors. Does someone steal the show? Is someone stand out above the rest?
No, I
with
think
their performance or their character or anything like that.
I think there's one character who has a lot of cool moments. Each of the major Avengers has their moment. It's an awesome. If you think of Captain America in a previous movie was holding a helicopter with one arm and he's holding onto a building, and you're like, that's the thing. Oh, look at that thing. Or I'm always angry with the Hulk in Avengers. Oh, that was awesome. For the major characters, you have that. For like every major character and some small moments from every other character. You're like, that's their thing. So there's a lot of fan service when it comes to that. I could tell you who I think had the best performance out of it. I don't know if you want to know that yet, but that's up to you.
Yeah, sure. As long as it doesn't give away any of the plot or anything.
No, I don't think it'll give away the plot. Thor, I think, has the strongest amount of...
Yeah, you're not the first person who's told me that. Yeah,
and I think from the trailers you could kind of see that he has a lot of cool shots with him, and but then again they hold back a lot of the other stuff in the trailer. So I will say this: normally I watch enough trailers and I'm like, I know the entire movie. This is kind of pointless. No, you haven't. The clips are really tight. Disney's been really controlling on that. It's just fully a solid movie with surprises at times, and yeah.
Now, does it follow any of the comic book Infinity Gauntlet?
Yes. So it is based on Infinity Gauntlet. It doesn't appear to be anything like Infinity War. And
okay.
If you don't know what we're talking about the 1991 comic series and then the one that followed it. If you haven't read that and you're like, well, let me tell you about it. No, because I'll spoil things. But there are definitely some hat tips to the miniseries. There's also some of those nods when it comes to some of the phrasing that's in the trailers, particularly snap, snap of the fingers thing. Yeah. That is mentioned in the movie several times.
There obviously has to be some changes because they don't have the rights to Silver Surfer, so he can't be involved. Yeah. And he was a fairly big part of the beginning of Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, in the book, Silver Surfer is the one warning everybody Thanos is coming. And that's filled by another character in the film, and it works just fine. I wouldn't say, like, oh, that's distracting. Why isn't it Silver Surfer? It's like, no, everybody really works well in this movie. And like we're saying with Thanos, his CG is excellent. He looks great. He looks, I think, sometimes better in certain scenes than others. some close-ups that look excellent. Some of them you're like, he looks a little cartoony, but it still doesn't take you out of it. Kind of, I don't want to compare him exactly to the Hulk in Ragnarok, but that's the closest comparison.
Okay.
Except because he is the main villain, it looked like, I don't know what they were doing with the CG on this. I don't know if they waited a long time to re-render everything, because there are some scenes where you're like, oh, that's a purple dude from Titan. That really is. And then the other scenes you're like, yeah, that's probably a CG guy. But it was very, very impressive. So ILM and every other VFX house has outdone themselves with the Thanos stuff. So good bad guy. Not one of those, yeah, he's forgettable. I say top 3 bad guys in Marvel, with Killmonger and Vulture being the other 2.
Nice.
So,
nice. Josh Brolin.
Yes.
One of his 2 Marvel roles to be in this summer.
Yeah, he's going to be Cable as well.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much the spoiler-free. I got Thanos. I got what to watch otherwise. Post-credits, mid-credits, big screen, absolutely 3D probably. Best Avengers movie in existence right now, and it's a very interesting film. And also, when you watch it, it is packed. Like, when I saw the screening, I had notes and notes and notes, and it took me about an hour to decompress all of it to figure out, okay, what did I just watch? And I didn't remember the beginning of the movie because so much happens by the end. You're like, oh, right, this happened.
Right.
There's a lot of goings on in this movie, and like I said, everybody gets their scene, and it works. It doesn't feel forced. So
chances are I'm going to go see this more than once. Sounds like that's
I don't see how you couldn't. I think our patrons will also see this more than once, because if you enjoy the Marvel films, you guys will enjoy seeing this. Thank you, everybody, at patreon.com/Iyaz for supporting this show. These guys have been with us the longest. They are our video producers. That's why they get a credit. But back to the movie, it's something I think you're going to enjoy. I don't think it's going to disappoint. I'm not going to say, like, you couldn't build this up too much. It's like, yeah, you could overbuild this, but if you've been watching the other 18, you
have to go see this. I mean, you have to. There's no question. You've been waiting for, this, especially for the last 4 or 5.
Somebody mentioned that, like, after 10 years, I said this, after 10 years, they wouldn't screw this up. And then somebody mentioned, what about Star Wars? And I was just like, good point. However,
solid point. Solid.
However, Disney didn't have full control of all the Star Wars.
Right, and yeah, the thing is that Star Wars changed hands in between. This is the same people from the beginning, to now, who've worked together to build this thing.
And I don't think this will be a spoiler. Actually, maybe it is, but so look out. I'm going to put the spoiler bumper up, and this is a minor one.
Do it!
This is a Marvel film. And because there's Kevin Feige at the top, there's consistency. So every character acts like the way they're supposed to. Cap is Cap. He's really brave. And you've got Iron Man. He's smart and he's quippy. And you've got Star-Lord, who's also quippy. And then you've got Thor, who is kind of joyous at times and boisterous. So, like, you're not like, wait, did they not understand the character? What happened here? Why is Groot saying other words? Or, like, why is Natasha all of a sudden cracking jokes? None of that crap happens, okay? You don't have that.
Yeah.
Everyone's
people stick in their roles, and it's the same people you've learned to love at this point. Or hate.
It used to happen when you would read comic books that a certain writer didn't know the voice of a certain character, at least as well as you thought that the regular writer did. Let's say it was the regular writer for Wolverine, and then they would have the crossover, and you're like, all he says is bub every couple of words. It's like,
that doesn't quite make it.
You got the gist, but you're missing, the crux. You can't just have the gist. You got to have the crux. Very important. So you have a consistency with the characters, and it works really well. So it's definitely worth watching. And I don't know if I've got anything else to say without spoiling the film any more than I have. I said the runtime. That could be a spoiler if you guys are upset about that. Sorry.
Well, let's stop. Oh, well, we said there's a post-credit scene totally worth staying, or is my ass out of there? Because that's a long credit.
Okay, so
if I got to pee, I need to know.
Oh, okay. Look, if you got to pee, I'd say go, because like if the runtime is what I've extrapolated, so it was IMDb says 2 hours 29 minutes. I had the movie tracked to 2:15. That means you got about 14 minutes to go to the bathroom. Or actually, probably more like 10.
Wow.
So you got to run to the bathroom, then come back and watch the end scene.
Okay.
I say it's worth watching because, again, you waited 10 years.
Yeah.
Freaking watch the end scene. I could, not that I would do it here, I could tell it to you, and you probably wouldn't be like, I missed that?
Yeah.
Huh. But,
yeah,
it's so
stay.
it is.
Yeah, just checking.
So,
I think we should end on that. Everybody, obviously, Iyaz says, go see this movie.
Yeah, it doesn't suck. It's the furthest.
Doesn't suck.
It's one of the furthest things from sucking.
Excellent.
It's no Thor 2.